Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to share my experience working with Neodymium, which is the fancy name for an incredibly strong magnet. They're great for sewing, crafting, and everyday stuff around the house. But working with them definitely comes with its own quirkiness. Today we're going to dive into the pros and cons of working with these power magnets. First things first, here's how you spell it, okay? There are different names to this magnet, sometimes called rare earth magnets, REE, world's strongest permanent magnet, earth magnet, and sometimes they are rebranded differently, but they really are neodymium magnets. They're just called differently by other retailers. So there's a ton of information online if you want to Google this type of magnet. But today we're focusing on the consumer version of this magnet, which you can easily buy in Amazon or eBay or sometimes in some retail stores. The consumer kinds are usually the shiny, polished, and they come in a variety of shapes and sizes too. I first heard about this magnet when I went to a sewing guild lecture. A guest speaker made a costume and she showed a picture of one of her costumes with a stuffed animal perfectly attached to her chest. So I asked, how did you make that stuffed toy stay in your chest the whole time? She said, neodymium. I got curious immediately. So naturally, I bought the cheapest one I could find at the time. But then when they arrived, they were so tiny I had no clue what to do with them. I literally stored them for 2 years. Yes, 2 years, because I was stuck on what to do with it. This summer, I finally decided to make something useful out of them. A little ice pick holder to keep nearby. For this project, I used a clear ripstop vinyl, which is just one piece of fabric folded twice. Though there's a trick to sew this. It took me a while to figure this out because working with a magnet and sewing with a magnet was kind of a challenge. I thought it was going to be easy to sew this, but no, because it's a challenge to sew the magnet. Plus, they can't be too close to each other because it will magnet to each other. So it took me a while to figure this out. Anyway, I made it work, and this is the result, and it works out fine. Now let's talk about the good and the bad. The good. Oh my gosh, these things are strong. No messy glue, screws, or nails required. You can use them for crafts, dioramas, bag closures, kitchen magnets, or hanging tools. You can also carry them with you for detecting fake or real gold. Now, because this is a sewing channel, I just have to show you this. I have an older metal overlocker from the late 1970s, made by Kawasaki. The blade and the components must have been made of neodymium magnets because every time I snap the upper blade, it makes this instant, almost scary snapping sound that I don't like. They just don't make overlockers like this anymore. I have other overlockers too, but they don't snap and make a distinct sound like this machine. Now the bad, and this is really important. First, shopping for them can be tricky. So pay close attention to the measurement, even if it's in millimeters. Convert it to inches. Because getting the wrong size can throw your project off, or you have to think harder to make it work. They're also a bit pricey compared to regular magnets. And they're hard to find in most retail stores also. You may have to inquire if the store carries it. And they're normally displayed on the top shelf just to prevent the kids from playing with them. I think this is also a high-theft item. Imagine walking past a shelf and having a product accidentally clings to your rings or keys or watch or whatever metal accessories you're wearing. You never know, it can cling to you even though you didn't want to be with it. Also, shopping online, I think, is the better bet to look for these products because you have more variety of sizes. The stores have very limited sizes. When it comes to actually working with them, they can be a pain. If you have multiple pieces, they will actively try to attract each other faster than you can blink. Plus, they will cling to everything metal on your sewing table, on your scissors, your seam ripper, you name it. And please, keep them away from kids, babies, and pets. Hazard choking materials for sure. While I was filming this video, I was so distracted because of the camera and I was fidgeting with it, I actually lost my magnets. It took me almost 40 minutes of frantic searching, thinking, where the heck did it go? I can't finish my video now. Turns out they snapped themselves to the bottom edge of my sewing machine. Lesson learned, work with no distraction. So yeah, it was not fun to look for something that was just in front of me. For real sewing projects, like I did here, keep in mind it will stick to your sewing machine, especially on the bottom presser foot. It's not too bad with small sizes, but if you use the huge magnets, the bigger ones, it will literally lock onto your presser dog area of your machine and prevent the fabric from moving naturally. Even if your machine has a plastic body on the outside, there are still metal parts inside that will attract it. For vintage machine, they're kind of hard to work with because they're mostly made of metal. It's still doable though, but you have to be very mindful because it will just stick everywhere. Also, sewing with this, if the presser dog is not feeding, you can give it a little tug on the other side. That said, you can still make a lot of stuff with these magnets. Full disclosure, the magnet will try to steal your sewing clips and pins while you work, but it's still doable. There's just some quirkiness to this magnet. The verdict? I seriously love these magnets, but you definitely have to think ahead before using them. They have so many cool uses for everyday use, and there's thousands more applications. They can be also incredibly annoying to work with because they snap together so quickly. And watch your fingers because they have pinched my skin a few times now and it's not really agonizing or painful, but it still can bite. Magnets that can bite your skin. Stay focused and have fun with them. Hopefully, this gives you some good insights on how to work with these magnets. Thank you so much for watching.